Hey, what's up guys? Books Nelson here, back with another video, and today we're going to be covering the new fireworks content coming tomorrow with a host of other things, including the July 4th event as well. All of this has been released in the info in the My Team playbook, so let's get right into the content and discuss this. So before we even look at the playbook, looking at what they have available here, let's just look at some of these cards and give a quick overview of what we see here. So Luca is going to be the challenge reward card. So Luca should be pretty good, actually. In fact, I think that Dark Matter Luca might be one of the better free cards from that set. I think most of them have been pretty bad. I actually thought Wemby is better than most people think. Wemby is still a pretty good card, even at the Galaxy Opal. The minimum Galaxy Opal Wemby is actually still a solid card, especially with the Greg Popovich coach and the strength shoe. He's still 7'4". He still has an excellent release with that sped up release. I think Luca might join Wemby in actually being a playable free version. Just because when we look at Luca, his shot is a little weird, and I expect obviously the GOAT one is probably going to be one of the best point guards in the game, almost certainly, if not the best point guard in the game. Well, next to Kareem, right? But his size, if you know the right dribble moves with this guy, Luca has a lot of good animations in the game. So we have to see what animations he gets. But I bring this up with the challenge reward version because the challenge reward versions usually get like their default animations, but Luca has an elite snatchback and elite crossover, and with the in and out tech that we found on this channel, you really have access to a lot of great things with a 6'7" guard, and Luca's been getting elite defense since his Evo card, so he should be actually pretty good and a very usable point guard. Now the shot is going to be a little questionable, but I think that's an archetype in the game that people are used to. Cards that have a iffy shot, but they have good size, they're good going to the basket, and his leaner is probably going to be pretty good as well. So we'll see, but I actually have a little bit of high hopes for this challenge reward Luca. Okay, fireworks collection coming. So we see this is actually a pretty good set in my opinion. So Paolo Banchero is going to be playable. His jumper, not great, but usable. And he's going to be excellent in everything else. For some reason, Paolo Banchero cards are some of the best slashers in the game this year. They just dunk at a level above everything at the small forward position. Now, will he be elite at his position? I highly doubt that. I just don't think he has the jump shot to compete with the very best small forwards in the game. Even a guy who's smaller, like say a Ron Artest is so good defensively and his shot is so elite. I think even Ron, who's available right now, the Dark Matter for 200 KMT, I think he's better than this guy at that small forward position, despite the size difference. But I do still think if you were locking in this set and you got this card, you are getting a good card. Wilt, don't really need to say anything. Wilt Chamberlain should be absolutely excellent at both the power forward and small forward position. Center position. The one thing about Wilt, I still think Wilt's probably going to get a GOAT card at some point. They almost seem to be like avoiding it, but Wilt's probably going to get a GOAT card at some point. He's going to get an updated release in the GOAT card version that nobody's going to be able to get. But I do think that similar to Luca, all versions of Wilt will be good, and also similar to Luca, all versions of Wilt will have the same issue, which is the jumper. Now the thing about Wilt is his jumper's fine. I think it's just a little bit tricky to time because it has a hang at the top. So depending on your connection, it might be a little harder. That having been said, I've been using Opal Wilt. I got lucky and locked in for Opal Wilt right when he came out. Used him a ton and personally had no problem hitting shots with him, even before we got really juiced up coaches to push his three-pointer above the line. So I think Wilt's going to be excellent. His player dimensions are just out of this world good. I think even versus the Giants, Wilt is it reminds me of Bill Russell defensively. Like Bill Russell's defense is so juiced that I don't care about his shot as much. When I think his shot is fine because he performs above his level. Wilt is the same way in terms of just his athleticism at the center position. He for me performs what I expect a Shaq card to do, but Wilt feels a lot better at it. Just my opinion. Carmelo should be pretty good. Carmelo's got a great release. We'll see what base they put on here, but I expect this to be very good. And Ja Morant, he's going to be solid for a small point guard. Obviously, he's 6'3". This is the troll lock-in. So if you lock in, you get Ja Morant, you've probably got 100 cards you could play in his place that do exactly the same job, as good or better. But as far as 6'3" cards go, Ja should be fine. All right. Moving down here to the Sean Bradley. So obviously Sean Bradley, not a free giant, an available giant. He's actually not going to be free. He's going to be quite expensive, but he will be an available giant that will help you combat the other giants in the game. Because he is a dark matter, I do expect his athleticism and all of that to be in order. And I think this is probably going to be a pretty good card. Austin Reeves, also going to be absolutely fantastic. Basically, I'm not going to say he's a Devin Booker clone, but he's in the archetype of Devin Booker cards at that point guard. We all know how good he is. He was one of the best point guards in the game when he was released for free. I think it was the Rush set when he was a free Galaxy Opal. He held his own at that position for a very, very long time. And I expect the same to be true as well. I actually hope that he still has that Devin Booker dribble style. I know everybody wants everybody to have Kyrie, but I do think if you use that in and out tech, that Devin Booker dribble style does offer a nice bit of variety at the point guard position, because that push cross, especially with the dark matter card that's like 99 speed and all of that stuff, it offers a very nice challenging move that you have access to. Sabonis, I think, is going to be the worst card of the three. I just hate his shot. Don't love his shot. It's makeable. He's listed at 7'1". I feel like he's not 7'1" in real life, but Sabonis, he'll be fine though. I think he'll be fine at that power forward position. I don't think he performs well at the center position. Actually, it's almost the opposite of Wilt. Like, he just doesn't have the player dimensions. Wilt just looks massive. Like, Wilt came out of a different video game almost, right? Like, they imported his character model from Tekken. Whereas Domantas Sabonis is very much a, medium-sized, whatever height they have him at, he doesn't feel that big on the court for me personally. But I still think he will be at least serviceable. And if you put the time in and work on that shot, he's probably fine. And with a quick glance at the Team USA cards that they're showing here on the cover, we got LeBron. It's going to be excellent with the one flaw. Again, it's going to be the jumper. And with LeBron, it's not so much the jumper off of the hop. So LeBron is a mixed bag, right? Because I think off the leaner, LeBron's fine. I think off the hop back, LeBron is fine. The problem with LeBron is off of the behind the back and coming off of a screen, his jumper can be really bad because it has like that medicine ball load up. That's what holds him back for me from being a point guard that I want to use if I'm trying to generate threes. And I know this sounds absolutely crazy. When I look at a card like that, was it Rob Dillingham? Dillingham, his shot is amazing. Like, if you want a three hunt with that card, they purposefully didn't give him like the best behind the back and stuff like that, because if he had that, he would literally be him, because that shot is so fast, so hard to get to off the dribble. Whereas LeBron, it's almost the opposite. If you're three hunting with LeBron, yes, you can hit the leaners and you can definitely hit the hopbacks. I don't want to sleep on that weapon. It's just that it's a little more narrow. Now, me personally, if you've been following this channel, you actually know I've been a LeBron fan of his cards all year. Definitely goes in the 2K24 Hall of Fame, cards all year. But I do think towards the end of the year, his jump shot has become more of a limitation when other cards are now getting their jump shots upgraded. You give LeBron T-Mac base though, and completely different story, right? Devin Booker. Devin Booker has become one of my favorite cards in the game and has moved into my personal upper tier of cards. So I personally would very, very much look forward to his Invincible, because as we discussed, Devin Booker's flaw before was he didn't have a lot of ways to attack with his dribbles. But once we discovered that universal dribble, that in and out tech, I've been using this card to tremendous success. And he has skyrocketed into one of my favorite cards in the game. Joel Embiid is going to be all right. Steph Curry is going to be yet another Steph Curry card. This guy has had 99 three ball for like 6 months and really hasn't changed. I do think Steph Curry cards are actually usable because his cards play better defense than you think for 6'3". They get the occasional paint stop. They're good at mash and squaring or what's it, X on Xbox and getting steals. But, at the end of the day, 6'3" point guard, and that's going to limit him. All right, so now let's actually get into the playbook. So first, let's go ahead to the July 4th weekend. So from the 3rd to the 8th, this mystery pack event is going to be going on. So player populations should be way up during this time, which would be really good for the game mode. And basically, you get a mystery pack for every win. They said basically in nearly every My Team mode, excludes play with friends modes and challenges. Okay, so basically triple threat. So if you're gunning for that Tim Duncan, this is a good time to grind for that Tim Duncan card. A really good time to grind for that Tim Duncan card and for Kareem as well. So this is going to be a huge weekend because normally the grind there, it's a slog playing all of those games for some of those cards. But whatever game mode you choose, whether it's triple threat, clutch time, unlimited, whatever it may be, I highly recommend you set aside some time and really benefit because these mystery packs are going to add a lot of value. And I anticipate this event to be definitely a W going forward. All right. So now let's look into the weeds of what else is going to be included. So we covered these cards. Okay, so no surprises here. We basically covered all of the cards that are there. And all you got to do is score 73 points. I imagine they will give you enough time to do this. It won't be too bad. So sorry about the New York noise in the background if you guys can hear that. But yeah, this looks like a lot of fun in terms of a nice opportunity to get some good stuff. This collection has some pluses and minuses. Obviously, there's a few troll cards in here, few cards you don't want. Set's going to be super expensive to lock in. We understand what's going on now. But I will say, with these Team USA cards, I do think LeBron, Embiid, Booker all can play 100%. I mean, LeBron, I think might be some people's favorite card in the game, especially if you're a rim runner. He's going to be excellent. But even if you are a rim runner, you add that step back three to your game, and LeBron is still going to be one of the best cards in the game. He just happens to have one flaw that keeps him from being absolutely perfect. Embiid, like I said, he's going to be fine. Embiid cards have been absolutely fine all year. He'll be okay at the power forward. And I think Devin Booker is going to be a sleeper. A lot of people aren't going to be up on that. Same thing with this Austin Reeves. I think this Austin Reeves is probably going to fit into the same bag. Hopefully they don't change that dribble style because I do think it gives him some extra variety. And, having the ability to get a giant out there. Hopefully Sean Bradley has good stats and a decent jumper. I don't know what his jumper is. Not going to look right now. We'll look later on. But yeah, really liking and I think these Luka cards should at least be solid. And Luka is one of the few cards that can actually play the 1, 2, and the 3 effectively. So not too many troll cards because his default position is point guard, which is great. But at the very least, the free Luka is there. For fans of Luka, of which I know there are many for good reasons, absolutely great player. For people with those Mavericks lineups that you're cooking up, he's going to fit in right well. And a nice big point guard for free. So this is looking like an overall W as far as content goes. I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully you guys are as well. And that's going to be it. I'll see you guys tomorrow to break all of these cards down. Hope you enjoyed this news update. Please like and subscribe if you have not already. And as always, thanks for your support. Peace.